And we're joined by Steve Brandel, a former firefighter in the city of Kelowna, in front of some high-rises, which are starting to concern you. Tell us why.
My concern, as even a resident of this city, let's go back. I was a firefighter, so I'm aware of the regulations that are required to fight a fire in any one of these buildings. Any building over 7 stories is considered a high-rise. So as a concerned resident now, after hearing about all these high-rises going up, I know that there's a standard, NFPA standard, National Fire Protection Association, and they set out everything fire-related. Everything, the city of Kelowna has to follow by it. We had to follow by it to get employment as a firefighter. There's NFPA regulations, but somehow the city of Kelowna is not following those regulations for the high-rises.
So what you're talking about is a minimum number of available firefighters if there were to be a fire or other incident requiring the fire department in one of these buildings.
Yes, yeah. The recommended, and I think we talked off camera on maybe the type of building construction, and recommended in the past it's been always 100 plus firefighters. Now with new building construction, concrete sprinklers and everything, they've played it way down. So now the requirement is 43 firefighters as a minimum to respond within 600 seconds as an initial call out. Now the Kelowna Fire Department, from the entire city, from Lakeshore to Lake Country, there's only 23 members on duty at any single time. So if there's a fire, if there is a single fire in one of these, all of Kelowna has no fire coverage.
Right. So obviously the fire department would respond, but you're saying that the response would fall way short of these guidelines.
Yes, according to the guidelines, it's absolute minimum of 43 members.
You must have made this point to, your former colleagues. Do you get an answer that's in any way satisfactory?
No, not at all. In fact, they did do some inquiries with the fire chief, and honestly, it kind of evaded the question about how many firefighters that we actually have to respond to these high rises.
Okay, so if the less than required number of firefighters responds, why do I worry? Without getting too technical, why is it important that you have such a number?
Well, it's the life safety of the firefighters and the residents that are in these buildings. There's an expectation in these buildings. They're not like a regular residential house fire. They have elevators, they have stairwells, they have emergency exits, they have fire pumps,
so
control
it's things
rooms.
like evacuating people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It takes manpower. And there's only 5 fire engines that are in the entire city that are ready to roll at any time. Each of those fire engines have 4 people. One of them is a captain, a senior member. So there's not a lot of people to do the dirty work, is there?
Right, so okay, without going on too much about numbers, how short are we?
50%, according to NFPA.
So you're saying, in other words, to meet these guidelines, we would actually have to pretty much double the number of firefighters?
To meet the guidelines, yes.
Do you think that's even remotely possible?
I personally don't feel, as a citizen and a taxpayer, I don't think it's possible. I don't think we could all afford it. However, I think we need to be taking a look at, are we prepared for these buildings, or are we just setting precedents?
And there's many more on the horizon.
Oh, there's about 20 more. 20 more on the horizon. Now, let me also say, all these other cities that they keep boasting, that, we have the highest high-rise from here to Vancouver, or Vancouver to Calgary. Vancouver has over 2,000 firefighters. Calgary has 1,500 firefighters. They're all urban centers. Anytime there's a high-rise, it's all in an urban center. In fact, I used to challenge people, said, there's nowhere else in the world that is doing what Kelowna's doing. And I take it back, I say nowhere else in North America now, because someone found a place in Spain that is actually doing something similar.
So what's so unusual is, if to see this many high-rises, you would usually be in a population center with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, so you could support a bigger firefighting force.
Exactly. And the other thing is a concern for the residents that aren't living in these towers. When there is a fire there, now they've just relinquished their fire coverage for something that the city's not even prepared for.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing up these points. Appreciate it, Steve.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.